The Gift of the Magi. It was the day before Christmas. Della had already counted out her money 3 times. All of the money was in coins. She had $1.87. It was not a lot of money. 60 cents of the money was in pennies. This was a collection of money she had saved after bargaining with the grocer and the butcher when she went shopping. Della lay on her old couch and cried. She cried and cried. Della felt that life was really only made up of sobbing, sniffling, and smiles, but that sniffling with tears seemed to take up most of life. She lived in a modest furnished apartment. Her rent was $8 a week. In the hallway of her apartment was a letter box, into which no letter would go. There was an electric button for the doorbell, but the bell did not work. Above the button there was a card with the name Mr. James Dillingham Young written on it. Mr. James Dillingham Young had had better days in his life. There had been a time when he had earned $30 a week. These days, however, he only earned $20. James was called Jim by his wife. Della adored her husband Jim. Della stopped crying and put some makeup on her face. She looked out of the window and saw a gray cat walking along a gray fence in a gray backyard. The next day would be Christmas Day, and Della had only $1.87 to buy Jim's present with. She had been saving the money for many months now. They struggled to get by on Jim's low wages. She had spent many hours wondering about what wonderful present she could buy for Jim. She wanted to buy him something very special. Della looked at her reflection in the tall mirror. She could see the reflection of her slim body. She took down her hair so it could fall full upon her shoulders. There were 2 particular things owned by the couple that they took great pride in. Jim loved the gold watch that had belonged to both his father and his grandfather. It had been in his family for many generations and was therefore very special to him. Meanwhile, Della had the most beautiful hair. She had hair that would make even an ancient queen jealous, and Jim adored it. Della stood admiring her beautiful brown hair. Her hair was very long. It fell below her knees and felt almost like a piece of clothing that covered her. Quickly and nervously, she put her hair back up on her head. She hesitated for a moment, standing still as 1 or 2 tears fell onto the old red carpet. She then put on her old brown jacket and her old brown hat. Her eyes lit up with excitement, and then she rushed out of the door and downstairs to the street. She walked down the street and saw a sign that said, Madame Sofronie, hair goods for all kinds. Della went up the steps to the shop and looked inside. Will you buy my hair? She asked Madame Sofronie. Madame Sofronie wanted to see Della's hair first before deciding whether she would buy it or not. When she saw Della's beautiful long hair, Madame Sofronie said, I'll give you $20. Della agreed to have her hair cut off and grabbed the money from Madame Sofronie. The next couple of hours flew by as Della visited various stores looking for a special present for Jim. Finally, she found the present that she was sure Jim would love. It was a fine-looking chain to go with the watch he was so proud of. She felt it possessed the same quiet quality that she could see in Jim. She paid $21 for the watch chain and hurried home. Jim could now be more proud of his watch. He would no longer have to feel embarrassed about his old watch strap. As soon as she got home, Della started to curl her hair to improve the look of her new short hairstyle. Parting with her hair had been a symbol of her love for Jim. Within 40 minutes, her head was covered with tight curls. Her new hairstyle made her look like a naughty schoolboy. She looked at her reflection in the mirror. "Oh, Jim will be so angry when he sees my hair," Della said out loud to herself. Della made some coffee and got the frying pan ready to cook the chops. She waited for Jim to return from work. Della became nervous when she finally heard his footsteps. "Please make him think I'm still pretty," she whispered. Jim finally came through the door. When Jim saw Della, he just stood looking at her with a very strange expression on his face. Della could not read the look on his face. He did not look angry or surprised. He did not look as if he disapproved. It was not even a look of horror. He just stared at her. "Don't look at me like that," Della said. "I wanted to buy you a nice present for Christmas." Della got up from the kitchen table and walked over to her husband. "I sold my hair so that I would have enough money to buy you a Christmas present. My hair grows really fast. It will soon be long again," she said. "You don't mind, do you, Jim? Say Merry Christmas to me, and let's be happy together. I have a beautiful, wonderful gift for you." But Jim was still in a state of shock. He could not believe his eyes. He just could not believe that Della had cut off her beautiful long hair to get money for a present for him. Della looked at her husband's face. "Don't you like me now?" she said. Jim took a package out of his coat pocket and placed it on the table. "Don't worry," Jim said. "There's nothing you could do with your hair that would make me love you less. But if you open this package, you will understand why I am shocked." Della started to open the package. She undid the string and then took off the paper that covered the small box. She could not believe what was inside it. Della screamed with joy, and then she cried. Inside the box lay something wonderful, something Della had longed to have. Jim had bought Della a set of combs to put in her beautiful long hair. They were pretty and expensive, too. Della had wanted these combs for a long time, but she no longer had the hair to put them in. "My hair grows fast, Jim," she eventually said to her husband. It was now time for Jim to see his present. "Isn't it a great chain?" cried Della. "I went to many, many shops before finding it. It's perfect for your watch. I really want to see how it looks on your watch, she said with great excitement. Jim fell onto the couch. Della, let's put our Christmas presents away for the time being. They are too nice to use now. Jim then told Della how he had actually sold his watch to get the money to buy the combs. He leaned back with his hands behind his head and smiled. "Put those chops on now, Della," he said in a happy voice. You might have heard of the story of the Magi. The Magi were the 3 wise men who visited baby Jesus when he was born in a stable in Bethlehem. They brought precious gifts for the baby. It was the 3 wise men who started the tradition of giving presents at Christmas. They were wise men, so they were able to give gifts wisely. But you have just read the story of 2 pure-hearted fools who lost their treasures. But I should add that these 2 fools, who made a sacrifice for someone they loved, were also wise. If you can give and receive gifts, as they did, then you too will be as wise as the Magi.